Hello everyone, this is Etsy Shadow and in this video I'm going to demonstrate that how you can perform Linux privilege escalation by abusing a misconfigured network file system, that is NFS. So let's get started. For the instance, I'm going to use Linux Privesc Room from TryHackMe, which is developed by Tiberius. NFS stands for Network File System, and as the name suggests, you can remotely mount a share from a Linux server into your local system. And when we talk about the vulnerable part, it comes in the configuration. Let me explain it to you by an example. If a share is available to be mounted on your local system, and after you mount it, you expect to make some changes. You can create new files, you can read, write, execute, and also you can modify it, delete it. Whatever basic file operations we do in a file system, we can do all of them. But when it comes to ownership of the file, suppose you are having root user logged in on the local system, and the other side where we want to escalate the privileges, it's a basic user, it's the low privilege user. So if you create any file on the mounted system with root user on the local system, we expect the ownership of that file to be of root. That means if the file is created by local root user, then it's going to reflect on the remote server as root user, the root user from remote server as well. That means if we put any malicious file with the root user, then it will reflect in the remote server as root, and when we try to run it, it will execute as root user. So to prevent this, NFS has one option that is called root squash. When we talk about root squash prevent a local root user to create a file as owner of root. So whenever if you will try to make a file as root on your local system, and if root squash is enabled in the configuration of that particular share, then definitely you won't be able to utilize that file that you have created. Why? Because the user group of that particular file is going to be nobody. So root squash simply changes the owner of the particular file to nobody, and that will make that particular file useless, and you won't be able to perform any malicious action with that. Now when we talk about root squash, there is one another option, that is no root squash. And in a misconfigured NFS share, if no root squash option is enabled, then opposite will happen. If you create any file on your local system on the mounted share, it will reflect as root on both local as well as remote side. So if you create any malicious file from your local system as root user, it's going to reflect on the low privilege shell as root on the remote side as well. So without wasting any time, let's hop into the practical part. So to view the configured NFS share, you need to open a specific file that is called exports, which is stored in etc folder. You can use cat command to view the contents of it by saying cat etc exports. If you see, there are various NFS shares available to mount, but we are interested in this temp one. We can remotely mount this temp to our local system, and let's look into the configuration of this particular share. So we have read write permission, we can remotely read and write files to it. We can sync the files over local and remote system. The share is insecure, and the most important option, that is no root squash. So since no root squash is set here, we can consider this share as a vulnerable share, and it is definitely misconfigured. And now we will look at how we can abuse this to escalate our privileges to root. So now coming back to our local system, first you need to make sure that you're logged in as a root user, and now you need to run a command that is show mount, and then you need to use option E by using -E, and simply copy the IP address of the vulnerable machine Linux server and hit enter. This command will show you that what shares are remotely available to mount, as we already verified it from here. Temp folder is allowed to mount. Now we are actually going to mount this folder. So to mount this on our local system, we will use mount command. But before doing that, we will need to create a folder where we will mount this remote share. So for this instance, I'm going to create the folder mkdir in my temp directory s2. Let's hop into the temp directory. After that, we are going to mount the share. We will use -O for options. We will set first option as read write because definitely we want to read write files here. We will set the version to 2, and then we will paste the IP address of remote server, that is this one. After that, we will need colon to specify that what share we want to mount from remote side, and then we will specify where we want to mount it on our local system. So we want to mount it on temp2. And as soon as you hit enter, if no error occurs, that means your share is successfully mounted. Now if we go to the temp2 folder and do a quick lsla, we can see all the remote files are available here. Let's just verify that by going into a temp folder on the remote side. Let's go to temp and do lsla here. You can see files are similar. That means the share is perfectly mounted here. Now since you have a vulnerable point and you have found an exploit, now you need to write an exploit code to exploit this. So I have this favorite C file exploit. I will explain it to you. That will create a file, a C file written in C language to perform some kind of action. It's not copied entirely. Let me just copy that again. After that, I'll explain it to you. This is a simple C program. You can say a malicious C program that is going to perform some malicious activity. So let me explain you word by word. First, we are using echo to create a new file. And after that, we have this main function. And in the main function, we are setting the GID, setting the UID to 0. That means we are setting it to root. After that, we are executing a system command, bin bash, and that's it. This is pretty much it. And then return 0. This means this particular script is going to run bin bash with root privileges. If we try to correct the output file name, so it is temp, then our 2 folder which we recently created, and then name as exploit.c. If we simply hit enter, we will see the file is created. Let's do lsla. So yeah, file is present here. Now we need to compile this file using GCC. So you can simply say GCC exploit.c into exploit. This is going to be the output. Oh, sorry. I need to specify the output. And I guess it is compiled. Let's do lsla. And yeah, the file is compiled. So I guess it's ready for us to execute on the remote side. Now if we see on the remote side, exploit is already there, present. If we try to run the exploit, I guess we are still user. We need to set SUID bit as well. Let's do it by chmod plus s on the exploit. Now I guess it's ready. If we run the exploit now, we are root. Let's do a quick who am I, and as we can see, privilege has been successfully escalated to root user. So this is one way. You can simply use other ways as well. For example, you can generate a payload from Metasploit ELF file in the form of ELF file, and you can use that. You can also modify this script into performing some other actions, but I think this is the most swift way of performing this exploitation. And this is how you abuse a misconfigured NFS share for privilege escalation. So this is pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching.